Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Good to see you on this beautiful, lovely Monday evening, afternoon, depending on where you are. So, in any case, let's give everyone a few minutes to get on here. In the meantime, for those of you on Zoom, I'm going to go ahead and promote you. For those on Facebook Live, consider yourself promoted. So let me type in first my chat message here, okay? Oops. Happy Monday. Here we go. Okay, let's do the promoting here. It's going to take a minute, so bear with me. We got a interesting subject tonight, sort of techie, but not too techie. So you'll be okay, I promise. Let's see here. Shirley, good to see you. Actually, Shirley LeBay and Shirley Ingersoll. Good to see you both. Good to speak to today, Shirley Ingersoll. Let's see. We've got some guests. Hey, Leslie Ray, good to see you. Jeff Johnston, good to see you, buddy. Gina, always good to see you. Let's see. Dennis, all right. Colorado's in the house. David Edwards, good to see you, buddy. Pensacola, let's see. Beverly Miller, good to see you, Beverly. Let's see. Tom Silvestri. Hey, Beverly Miller, I was just speaking with someone recently, not too far from you, up in Lexington. They may actually be on tonight. So, see, Jackie, good to see you. Steve, good to see you, buddy. Well, we got a full house tonight. Anita, good to see you. Lisa Sears, boy, you guys are jumping on rapid fire here. So, okay, I think that is everybody so far. So, Leah, you gave yourself a new name. Lisa, we'll now call you Leah, like Princess
Leah.
Leia.
That's perfect. It's spelled L-I-A. That is my alias.
Yeah, or you're for now ever right hereby call you Princess Leah.
Perfect. Okay. And I keep getting kicked off for some reason. I think it has something to do with my internet over here. So if you lose me, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully you're okay. Let's see here. Where's Anita Davis? Good to see you. Hey, Anita, did you get anybody to help you with loading real flow data up into KV Core? I think that was last week.
Right. I did get help, and but I have to do a lot of it on my own. We went through how to do it.
Okay.
So I will be, but I've had other issues with real flow. So, because real flow was #1 for me before KV Core. So
correct.
I'm still working on that. And matter of fact, I had to talk to someone in the technical or support area this morning. So they're working on something too, but I'll tell you more tomorrow when we meet.
We have a call tomorrow? Good. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Perfect timing. Yep. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Hey guys, just a reminder, every day after we have a weekly class, classes are now always on Mondays. So every Tuesday, Beverly sends out an email with a recording of the class. And if you scroll down, you'll see the links for the upcoming classes. They're technically webinars, so it's the upcoming webinar schedule. It just gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're always on Mondays. And the registration links, so that way you can share those with your friends and colleagues, okay? And also they're on our workplace page, the GIA workplace page online. For those of you on the GIA team, you know all about that, how to get there. And if you click on the More tab, and then on the drop down, you'll see events, click on events. All of the registration links are there also, okay? So those are the weekly classes. The monthly GIA team call, that's a separate matter earlier. That's just internally for the GIA members, okay? The weeklies are for everybody. Monthly is just for the GIA team members. So in any case, Good to see you all. Christina, great call today. Good to see you too. What I thought I would do tonight
Yes.
is, go into an example or two of how we can access local public data, specifically court records, okay? And the reason is every one of us has access to our county's property records, okay, in every county. Now, some county accesses are very easy, like carte blanche, you just get free clear access. You can search by type, class, all kinds of things, you know. So if you want to find, you know, only properties that have, whatever, 5 to 19 units or 2 to 4 units. Sometimes you can even get more specific than that. You can search for storage. You can search for gas stations. So in Atlanta, Carell and I, we figured out how we can search for anything we want. Hotels, they have a very robust search engine. Some areas are not that easy. You've got to literally know like an address or a lot block or a name. Now, when that happens, guys, I want you to please write this down. In most counties, if you ask for it, they will either give you a download link for your county's property records, literally the entire database of all the parcels. Doesn't matter if it's a 5 foot by 5 foot parcel, if it's recorded, which they all are, every parcel is identified in every county, you'll have it. In some cases, you do have to pay, very rarely, but we've seen places where you have to actually pay for the data. In my case, and where I was doing this actively in Allegheny County, we actually had to pay $50 a year, but we would get the entire database and download it. And that's exactly what we did. And it is well worth it, believe me, because now you have all the property information and all the owner information, okay? And if you want to search for a particular type of property like storage or retail or garage or whatever, you can do that, and you know exactly how to contact the people, okay? So this is why we take this so seriously. The reason we look at public records, which is what we call court records, that's what I'm going to go over tonight, is because we know, for example, people who own rentals who are evicting tenants are sometimes ready to pull their hair out. And show of hands, has anybody here ever had to evict a tenant before? If I had hundreds of hands, I'd raise them all, you know? Yeah. So Jeff, was that like a really fun day in the park trying to evict a tenant? You're muted.
No, it was not. It was not. It was a pain.
Yep.
But we got to court and they brought their attorney and they basically just said, if we can waive this, we'll be out by the weekend. And so I just said, okay, we'll do that. And they ended up getting out. So
yeah,
it wasn't fun. It was my only one, but it was more than I wanted to go through at the time.
So imagine that times 5, 10, 15 times. You think you might be interested if somebody came along and said, hey, you ever thought about selling that property if the price was right? What would you say? Yeah, you'd say, what do you have in mind? So what's funny is we had this discussion earlier about boats, and I've owned boats before too, and it's a totally different sensation, but the same result is, you're really happy when you buy a boat and you're happy for a while and you're using it, and then you got to start paying for things and fixing things and all that. And you're thinking, boy, you know what? I'm really not using this thing as much as I'd like to, and you sell it. And that's the second happiest day of your life. Same thing with rentals. I've owned bunches of them, and I'm glad I did. Believe me, all those properties I had over all those years. But the reality is when you have to deal with the evictions, it'll make you get gray real fast. Okay. So in any case, the reason this was important is Really Flow, which is how we get our leads, a lot of our leads in our team. They're good at tracking down probate and bankruptcy, foreclosure, and a lot of other criteria. We can go into that tonight if you guys want to, but people with rentals that have vacancies, people that have no debt on their property, people that have too much debt on their property, we can find all that. But it doesn't give us divorce and landlord-tenant cases. Okay, LT, landlord-tenant, that's what we want. So write that down. Every county could have their own naming convention. LT generally stands for landlord-tenant. could be, EVI for eviction. You just have to look at the data and determine that. So I don't know if Bobby Appleby's on. I don't think he's on, but oops, let me check. A few more people logged in here. Hang on, one guys. Grace, good to see you. And let's see, Dana Truman. All right, Maine's in the house, and so is Indiana. So, in any case, where was? Oh, the you have to look at the record. Sometimes it takes a while, and I'm going to give you an example right now. Let's do a. Give me a second to locate this, and then I'll share my screen with you. Okay. Let's see. We go here. So I'm going to show you one that I've used hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times over the years, and then we'll go to one of you guys. Actually, maybe we'll go for any of you who found your public records or court records. Let me know, and we'll go and show people that. Or if you want to try and see if we can find one of your own, your own county, if you haven't done it before, we can just do a live test and see what we find there. Okay, let's see. Docket information. Anna 33. Let's copy this. I'll be sharing screen in just a second. Hang on, guys. Anna 33. Might actually take me right there. Let's see. We want civil division. Search. Log in. Do that now. Let's see. Meet Toronto search. Search. Okay, let me do a share screen. Hang on one second. I love these live classes because all kinds of things happen. You never know what you're going to get. Like Forrest Gump says, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So let's search case filings by date. Okay, so this is what you hope to find in your county where you have the ability to search by date range. Okay, so let's go here and we'll select our date range. I'm going to go back a full week. Oops, let me do February 1st to the 8th, which is today. All right. Oops. Yeah. And we're going to apply it. And then we're going to select case, okay, or case type. I'm going to go to arbitration docket because I know in this particular county, when we win a case at the magistrate's level for evincing a tenant and they appeal, they don't just go right to the Court of Appeals. They go to this intermediate step called arbitration. Okay. We're going to search that. See what we come up with. Now, there's all kinds of cases here. ARs and SAs. We're looking specifically for LTs, okay? And there's one that says BCJ management. We're gonna look and see if we can find an LT case.
Hey, Gary, can you filter that at the top?
Here's one right here. Let me go up top here. You mean like a finer level of filtration?
Like where it says case number, well, can you filter that by, will it go by A to Z, for instance?
Oh, possibly. Let's see. I'm just wondering if it's
sort it by that.
I mean, if you
yeah,
click
what's
arrow,
interesting is it's kind of random there. Let me just
there it
let's say,
goes. There we go.
now
Now,
it's
yep.
sorted. Yeah. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to probably scroll down a whole bunch. Let's go to oops. Now here we go. Okay, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 LT cases. Let's do let's go to McLean versus Times. Okay. And what I like about this is you get the plaintiff and the defendant. Okay. Now I'm going to take you through the whole process so you see exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. What we're looking for are names and addresses. Okay. So we can see here the plaintiff, the person doing the suing, she's taking these people to court, is Joanna McLean. She's the plaintiff. She lives in Freeport, Pennsylvania. I know exactly what it is. And she's suing Michael White and Gary Times. I don't know why she's suing two people at two different addresses, but maybe this is where they moved to. Well, the point is we don't really care what happened and who did what to whom. All we know is we got the owner's name and the owner's address. Okay, so what can we do with an owner's name and address when we know that they've recently been evicting tenants and they had to go to their arbitration level? What's the first thought that comes to your mind? And don't be shy, just shout it out or type in the chat box.
Letter.
Yes. We would
Drop
send
them
them
a
a
letter or a phone call.
Yep, I would do both actually. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Jeff. So what I would do is this. I would go to our good old fashioned, tried and true homegrown letter we created years ago. So let me just type in MIS. Oops. And it should come up there, MIS template. And we should get a bunch of those popping up here. Oops. Oops. MIS template. That's what we want. Template. Gravity. MIS template. I don't know if it's already opened up down here. Oh, here it goes. Okay. Let me get this open and I'll show you. All right. So this is the one you have in the members area on the realestateWithGaryWilson.com website. You click on members area, right? Actually, here, I'll show you. We're going to demonstrate everything tonight, okay? So we go to the website. Click on members area, okay? And we're going to go into server level where the resources are. All right. And you can go into marketing campaigns and find it there under letter. So if you go into marketing campaigns, scroll down. And you guys should be out here every week. Always download this document first. It tells you exactly what sequence to do the marketing campaigns in, different marketing campaigns, and which ones go together, and at what the level of your development to use them in. Beginning, here they're all listed alphabetically. Here in this document, they're listed by appropriateness. Let's go down to L for letter. And right here is the letter template. You can download that and get it there. You can also go to our lead generating system. If this is for if you're on the team here, and you go into manage documents and go into, go into manage and click on documents, okay? And it's MIS template. You just click on this download arrow here and you can download it, okay? So two ways you can get that letter. Now let's go back to the letter itself. So here's the editing sequence. Real easy. Cut out all this stuff up top. You don't need it. Okay, just get rid of it. And here, we would put in there, let's go back to the person we just found. We'd put in Joedda, Joedda. We always do first name, okay? And remember her address, 100 Spring Creek Lane, okay? So go back to the letter. We put Joedda here, right? And right here we put the address, Spring Creek Lane, all right? And now you'd have to edit this to reflect your own market, your own name and address and email, phone number, all that. That will be your information here. But this is the letter we use, all right? Dear Joedda, I'm writing to you about your property located at 17 Elm Lane in Etna, or whatever her address is, right? I'm not suggesting you sell your property if you don't want to. However, inventory is tight right now. Is inventory tight right now? Yep.
Yes.
And I have clients like Mr. Metajasic, and that's a real person from our database that we know wants to buy rentals. So you got to use a real person. Don't make this stuff up. Life's too short. Who want to buy, and we listed out 4-unit building in this example, just like yours in your area. That's why I specifically saw you out. Even if you're just curious by what your property would sell for, please let me know. Be glad to give you a free evaluation. Now, did we say anything in there at all about Joetta evicting people? Nope. And you can do that. We've tried it. It does work. But we had a student get in trouble one time. He was writing to somebody who was going through a divorce. And he said, "I'm sorry to hear about your pending divorce," in the letter. What do you think the reaction was he got? How the HE double toothpick says, "You know, I'm going through divorce, you whatever, you know." So don't ever mention anybody's particular circumstances. However, you know, an eviction is not going to be as sensitive as a divorce. But in any case, did I say anything at all in this paragraph about me? Did I say anything at all about me? Now, one word, didn't name my credentials, didn't tell them anything. It was all about them. I used the word you or your 10 times all the way to here about your property. I used the phrase sell for. I'm not suggesting you sell your property. I'll be glad to give a free evaluation, see what your property would sell for. So I planted the C twice, sell, and I used you or your 10 times. These are called language patterns, okay? And it's all basic human communication. We just emphasize some of the key words and key phrases that really work. So in any case, tonight really was supposed to be about this letter. I just want to show you why we like this, because it's neutral. It doesn't mention their circumstances, and yet they receive it at the time when they're probably thinking about selling. So we appeal to the emotion of the desire to sell. By the way, since we got it up here, any questions at all on this letter? You might have any questions?
Would you leave that paragraph at the very bottom? We instruct, inform, and assist our clients and advisors in building wealth. You would leave that, right?
Yeah, you can. I do, and you guys can copy it if you want. I don't mind at all. This is, we call it our tagline. But one thing that's not in here, and this is a little real estate agent quiz here. What statement is not in here that should be in here, just to be
The
safe?
disclosure.
Yep. Yeah, if you're currently under contract with another real estate broker, this letter is not intended to be a solicitation of your business. It's not in here because we actually took the next step to find out if a property was actually advertised for sale in the MLS. We looked at MLS, and if it wasn't there, we'd leave that statement out. I would tell you, I should put it in here. Actually, let me just type it in. If you are already, whoops, sorry, my typing is, the heck? Yeah,
We get it. We get it, Gary. It's good.
this is the Gary Wilson Comedy Hour. Watch Gary try to type. So in any case, if you're not going to verify that a property's been listed or is in the MLS at all, I would put that disclaimer in there. Okay. So, in any case, what do you notice about this letter? By the way, what's missing up top? What are you not seeing?
Letterhead.
No letterhead. Yep. We took it out. Response rates went up. Okay. Put it back in. Response rates went down. Let's see what else. I mean, that's really pretty much it. You get the gist of it. We get right to the point. We don't beat around the bush. We don't fill in full of stuff about how great we are and our credentials and all that kind of stuff. All right, let me check the chat box because I see some questions coming in. Let's see. Oh, Betty's asking, what document should I use when door knocking? So Betty, I don't really advocate specifically door knocking in the true sense of the word. What we want you to do is do the combination farming and circle prospecting, where you deliver a flyer or a booklet. Okay. So Betty, if you could, I think you had a call already set up. Betty, if you don't have a call set up with me, Betty, set one up, and I'll go over how you. I'm sorry.
I will set up the call for next week.
Good. Yeah, because I want to walk through. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a variation, kind of unique. And I know Teresa Green's been doing it. I know David Edwards has done it a few times. Mo's been doing it. It's one of those things. It's grassroots marketing. It takes a while to develop, but man, is it work. It just, you establish yourself in a neighborhood. And guys, I'm going to kind of get off the subject here for a second. We're talking about this particular way to arrive at contact information for owners of properties who are evicting tenants. And this is a great way to pick up some investment listings or investments for yourself if you want to invest yourself. Okay. But I will tell you, for every agent on the call here, most of you do have your license. And I'm going to say this with a positive outlook, is that the market's changing. Okay. It's been poised for a while, even without the virus. I mean, whenever you have multiple offers, highest and best offers, it's been a couple of years now, and it's getting crazy. I mean, I've talked to people who had 60 offers, okay? I know people that have gone up nearly $100,000 above list price, okay? We call that silly money. People just can't help themselves. It's like the auction mentality. They got to have it, right? Now, the reality is it can't keep going forever because, prices will keep getting pulled up to the point where it's beyond, what's reasonable. Now, here's what's also happening. If I'm sure you noticed, mortgage rates went up last week or the week before. And granted, it's still, below 4%, whatever. But the point is, statistically, they went up a full third. In other words, if interest rates were 3%, 1% is 1/3 of 3%, right? If you add 1% to 3, you get 4%. It went up a full third across the country, okay? Also, you notice gas prices have gone up a lot. In fact, statistically, 35% or more and climbing. So when you raise gas prices, what happens? Well, what happens is everything that's shipped, plumbing supplies, roofing material, windows, doors, carpeting, cabinetry, fish, fruit, vegetables, everything that gets shipped is cost more. How many of you have been to the grocery store in the last week and thought to yourself, you know what, seems like stuff's a little bit higher than it was a couple of weeks ago? Because it is, right? We call that inflation. I don't care how the picture for you. Just remember, it's inflation. It's getting more expensive. Money is a commodity, just like fish is. It costs more now, okay? So, in any case, when that happens, it's going to dampen the market. It's going to, that little bit of an increase on the mortgage rates, just imagine how many people just got knocked out of the market they were in, right? They can't no longer afford that house. They maybe got to drop down or whatever. What I'm saying here is this: at a certain point, all the agents are going to get smart and start to realize what's happening, and they're going to be what we call the herd, and they'll follow the herd and get in with the herd. But really smart agents prepare ahead of time. When you see what's happening, you prepare now. You get in the game of getting listings. Focus on the listings, okay? Because everybody's going to be scrambling. And the reality is even if the market continues to climb, is having listings a good thing or a bad thing? Either way, you can't go wrong. I mean, this is a
An
win-win
excellent
scenario.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a win-win scenario. So, in any case, Shirley is saying have Beverly include disclaimer and email for people. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll give it to Beverly, and we can put it in the email tomorrow. Thanks, Shirley, for thinking of that. In any case, I just went down a rabbit hole, so let me get back here. So we use this letter, all right, and we send it to Joetta, and then like Jeff was saying, we would call them. So I would send them a letter, and then within 7 days I would call them. So now, thanks to David Edwards, let me just type this in here real quick. Of course, you all know David is on the team, and on a regular basis, he's sharing and contributing. And one of the things he shared and contributed is this handy dandy fella right here. Right? We have different sources of skip tracing. You can use services online. You can go to our KV Core can do it for you. ReallyFlow can get it for you too. If you're on the team, you can use either of those two sources. And if you're on the team also, this is where our communications homepage, and you get the link out there. So go out there, type in David Edwards like I did, hit the enter key, and you'll see David's post. And that post is out there. with the link for Ensa Khalil, the guy in Pakistan who can do this stuff for us. So, any case, that's just one example. If you go, we can go back here, by the way. Let me go backwards, and I'm going to try to find. Let's do another search again. And I'm going to try to.
He gets you. By the way, he gets you email addresses as well as phone numbers.
Awesome. Yep. That's awesome.
Hey, real quick, when you go
Yes, sir.
through Fiverr there, that guy, does he have access to RealFlow, or do you provide him do you generate the list and send it to him, or?
Yeah, I generate a list from whatever resource I'm using, whether I'm using tax records or RealFlow or whatever, and then I send it to him, and he will run it against LexisNexis and several other data sources and come back. If they're out of area, he will have found so if they're rental properties, he will have found the mailing address for them. You do have to ask him.
Jeff, I use him too, and he's really good. Thank you, David.
Yeah, you do need, if you're going to bring it into KV Core, you do need to ask him to split the owners out into first name, last name, so that you don't have to go in and do it. But he's really good. Like if you get something back and you realize like, oh, I forgot to ask him to do this, just send it back to him and he'll take care of it for you. I've sent him over 1,500 so far, and he's done a great job on all of them.
All right, I might be hitting you up on that a little bit later, but thanks a lot.
Yep. Hey guys, if you want to, obviously you can see here, we can see foreclosures and tax assessment appeal dockets. We don't really need to see that, but I want to see if we can find some divorce cases since we can't get them for RealFlow. And looks like we got a bunch of them out there. Miller versus Miller. How about that? They all have the same last name. Just kidding. I shouldn't laugh. What's funny, people who've been through divorce can laugh about it now, but when you're going through it, it is not fun,
Death is easier.
Yeah, I tell you, it is. At least for me too. Okay, now here's what's interesting. Look what they gave us. They gave us the names, Elizabeth and Charles Miller, but they give us the address. Nope, all we know is the town, Brentwood, and the state and the zip code. Now, Miller's a very common name, but we can probably figure out who they are with some little extra digging. So, in any case, I don't think we're going to get much past this unless we go to a different source of data. So let's see if we have, let's see, attorney, service, address, type. What I want to see if we have toggle. Oh, wait, what is this? Is this the slideshow pagination note? Yeah, the columns. No, we don't need to do that. I was going to see if there's a way where you can see an actual recorded document. This might be it here. Let's see. Toggle. Nope. Nope, that's not it. Okay. So I heard that they're starting to get stricter, more strict on how they show divorce information because people felt like that their privacy was being violated. And this was an example of this. So I just wanted to try it. But I like divorce too because nobody likes to work with them. It's just their thought is, well, why would they talk to me? They won't even talk to each other. And we could possibly try to go back. Let's see here. Nah, it's not going to let us go back. There's other ways we can search. Let's see, filings, new case filings, search. Let's go to home. I went into civil, but there might be another. Yeah, it's just not going to let us do it. Unless I go from here again. Let's do Deanna 33. Let's get rid of some of the stuff we're going to clog up the airways. Okay. Civil family, we just were there. We did search. Let's see, marriage license, marriage records. That's not going to work for us. Criminal division, we don't really care about that. Wills and orphans, let's see, probate, fee schedule, probate forms. Okay, bottom line is we got our landlord tenant cases in that example. Now, before we go any further, what I want to ask you guys is, does anybody, let's see, let me do this. Let me stop sharing for a second. So give me a hand raise if I've already helped you find court records in your area. I know we've helped several find property records, but how about court records? Did we have any luck, Jeff, when we did that?
Actually, I live in the Metro Detroit area, which is comprised of 3 counties, Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb. I live in Macomb County, and I talked to you about a year ago on this, but I went into look up death records, and I started mailing to the deceased. I know it sounds weird, but I actually got a lot of hits on that, and I had probably about 6 or 7 hits off my mailings. People that I talked to, they were on different phases of the sale or the process of selling and that, and I didn't get anything out of it other than I sent out letters and I got replies, and it's like any other lead. Also in Macomb County, where I live, I looked up the divorces, and they're classified by with or without children. So that was very interesting. And I thought about running that down a little bit. And we did have addresses, actually. We had, in Macomb County, they do give you the address of the couple getting divorced. So I thought that would be interesting because there's potentially 3 to 4 deals in that. But I never got into, mailing those out because I was, running down the other end of the thing, the other side with the, people that had passed. But there are hundreds and hundreds of people that are getting divorced. So where I'm at, I mean, I can get the addresses too. So I may revisit that, I think, in the days or weeks ahead, just to see, what the numbers look like.
Well, what I would do is I would definitely send them a letter, perhaps even the one we just went over, and then follow up 7 days later with a phone call.
Right.
I used to do 2 letters and a phone call, but under the circumstances, I'd say a letter and a phone call is definitely within reason.
I kind of thought it would be weird because, what if they're both living together still, which more than likely they might be, and they're going to get the same mail on the same day from the same guy. So I thought, that's going to look really weird, like
it may bring
a
it back
divorce
together.
predator or something like that.
It may bring it back together, Jeff. You could be the love guru from Michigan.
I could work that too. You guys, what are you doing? Let's stick together and let's move you into a bigger home, whatnot.
I like it. So, okay. And so Alexandra, that was a good call today, by the way, Alexandra. So I'm trying to remember, we found we could find the landlord tenant cases, right? But we had to go take an extra step to find the address. Is that right? I think.
Yes, with the property records, we can find the name and the exact address, and see where they are with the taxes and all that.
Okay. So what happened is Alexandra had to set herself up with an account. So that'll happen too. You go into you do a search, literally you type in the county and state, like Susan Murray, what county is Lynchburg in?
This is Dade County.
Oh, sorry. Dade, we did a search on Dade County court records search, something like that. And what we're looking for, remember this, guys, there's going to be a lot of responses like third-party sites trying to give you the data and sell it to you. But we want to focus on the government sites. It'll say in there somewhere, gov for .gov, or it might say state.pa.us, something in the county. Just make sure it's an actual government website, because usually you can get the data for free, okay? In Alexandra's case, and somebody will have this too, you'll have to set up an account. It'll say, please set up an account first, but it's free. and they give you better access to the data. So, yeah. In any case, would anybody like to give it a shot and see if we can find your court records for your county? I don't mind at all. We can. You might. Susan's shaking her head. Okay. So Susan, can you unmute yourself?
I don't want to monopolize because you helped me with the bank. So if anybody else wants to do it, that's fine.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'd love it if you do it for me.
Does anybody want to?
I just did it and it came, the very first hit from Google, I typed in Riverside County Court Records, and the very first hit is a good one.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. You know, we've had a lot of luck with California, and I would have thought, in my own opinion, California would have been really tough. Like New Jersey can be tough. And in both cases, I was wrong. In New Jersey, Tom Sylvester's on. He called and was getting, it was the property records, right, Tom?
Yes.
And the guy actually sent you the link with the actual records and everything. Crazy.
Yeah.
So go.
You know, I have something to share with the group that I picked up today that might be helpful. I found a software that you could upload like your list. So I could take my entire tax assessor list and upload it, and it checks the addresses to see that they're real addresses.
Wow.
And then it checks to see if they're vacant. And that's just the first thing it does. It cleanses the data. And then you could do, it's just relevant to what you were talking about. You can go in and you can get apparently you can buy these lists of divorced, deceased, default on taxes. And then you can upload those lists into this software, and it'll find the records and tag them. And this guy, he developed this software. He's I think he's like a wholesaler, and he does, a lot of business. And he's trying to identify a way to find like the top 1 to 3%, so that when he's doing his marketing, he's not wasting a lot of money, and he's hitting the cream of the crop of the low-hanging fruit. So the software, I could share it's an online software. I could share it in the link if anybody's interested.
Yes, please.
You want me to do promote you, and you can do you can share your screen?
Well, I haven't really signed up for it yet, but I've taken like a bunch of his classes because it's a lot of database management. And, from what he's doing, he's using the Gary Wilson methodology of sending out letters, but he's also calling. And he's saying that the real ones are the ones that are hard. The hard ones that, like, somebody died and they didn't really have an estate, and you really have to dig and do some research, some forensic research, because there's other people trying to get their hands on these properties. But if you do the extra 2 or 3 steps, you could usually, with some time and some effort, find them. So I'll share the site. It's in the chat box. He's got a bunch of videos on there, and you could check it out. You have to pay like $49 a month for his service, though, for his software.
Okay. All right, good. Hey, Chris, did you try to do a search for the Riverside County just to see if you can do a date range search or anything like that, or?
No, I just did that I typed that search, but I didn't click on that link yet.
Okay, good. That's you're probably have some good luck there. At least that's what we found. We found a lot of data available in California. For example, if you go to, and I can't remember the exact site, but you guys, you know how we can go to our state's website to see our real estate license? Okay. Usually that same website has the licenses for all the other industries. Like engineers often have to have licenses. Teachers have to have licenses. Nurses, dentists, they all have licenses. So California has an awesome, robust system to find all this information. We found one complete whole section just on engineers, and you can drill down to the type of engineer, and it gives you their name, their address, when they got their engineering license. I mean, it was crazy. Florida is really good too. I know in Florida, you could go find a dentist and see all the offices that they own, and it gives you all the addresses and everything. So this is important because we know from experience, engineers and dentists are 2 of our top groups to serve when it comes to investing. They make great investors and they make great clients, I mean, they generally are good with their money. They generally have money, and they're good. They're used to analyzing things or doing analysis on spreadsheets, like some of our calculators when we look at the investment properties. That stuff's right up their alley, you know. So instead of us doing broadcast marketing, let's focus on the ones we know already statistically make better clients, right? Does it make sense, guys?
Yeah.
You're really targeting, it's working smarter, not harder. Any case, Susan, I tell you what, if you like, we can still try to get your court records for Lynchburg.
I would
Nobody,
love that. I would love that. Thank you.
let me do a share screen. And so bear with me, guys. Sometimes this is easy, sometimes it's not so easy. So we'll see what we get here. What county is Lynchburg in?
It is the city of Lynchburg.
Oh, that's right. Lynchburg.
There it is. Yep.
Yep. Let me move our pictures out of the way here. Okay. Lynchburg, Virginia, court records. Let's just start there and see what we get. Okay, courts.state.va.us. That looks like a pretty good hit to me. So let's start there. And guys, I tell you, it really pays to be persistent with this stuff. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not so easy. So let's, now this looks familiar, and I'm going to tell you why. Guess what kind of little piece of paper I got about a month and a half ago driving through Front Royal, Virginia?
It's
usually yellow. So I look at this, say, hey, that website looks familiar. Yep. So I had the privilege of spending $176 to drive through Front Royal. Okay, let's see your case status and information.
Just out of curiosity, how fast were you going? Asking for a friend.
Asking about 150. No, I wasn't, just kidding. I just come off the highway and I'm trying to look at my GPS to see what I'm supposed to do, and didn't realize, famous Virginia trick. If you ever go for Virginia, you get off an exit, be careful. It won't just go down to like 45, then 35 and 25 like you usually see. It went right to 25. Had no clue. I'm going through and this cop sitting right there at the gas station, right off the exit. And I'm sure he was smiling. As soon as I went through, he was like, we got one. You know, so any case, district court case information.
So Gary, interestingly, right now, the two hard deals that are finally closing tomorrow, the seller he's the seller of both of the two, and he had so many fines and fees from not showing up in court, not paying his fines, rental problems, trash problems. So I've been in this district court thing, finding them. I wonder if that would be a way to identify people who would like to get rid of their properties that way too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, let's go to courts. Let's pick, I'm gonna go find Lynchburg. Hang on 1 second. There it is. Funny thing about Virginia is this same thing in Virginia Beach, the Virginia Beach city is also Virginia Beach County. It's one of the same. It's its own unique municipality. So we're going to do a hearing date search for Lynchburg General District Court. So we're going to start with last Monday. We'll end with, only lets us do this particular day, courtroom. How about hearing type? Let's do that. Arraignment, appointment, attorney, administrative. If you guys see anything looks like eviction or divorce or landlord tenant case, just shout it out, let me know. Hearing waive revocation, reopen, pretrial, preliminary, extradition. That's interesting. Detention, disposition, dismissed. Civil hearing is probably going to be in civil. Let's do civil. We don't know the courtroom. And let's just see what we get. Okay. Says internet. Do search. No case results found for search criteria. Oh, wait, because I picked a past date. Let's pick Wednesday. Now, sometimes they're held on particular days of the week. Like in other words,
Friday.
some hearings. Friday. Let's try that.
He was brought to court on February 25th, Friday, February 25th or 26th.
Let's look at, it won't let us change the status, data status, for some reason. So there's no civil hearings. Let's try the 9th, which is tomorrow.
Why, under civil, you have some options like service process search.
Where's
over in
that
the red
now?
box. On the red box on the left. So you've got civil and then you've got service process rather than name, hearing, date. Is that any helpful? at
Oh,
all?
service processors. Let's try that. Yeah, we need to have a name for that
Oh,
one.
no, never mind.
That's okay. So this is, sometimes this happens, you just, you know, you don't know what you're gonna get, but what's funny is it has a specific date as opposed to a date range. And it won't let us change the status. We don't know the courtroom. We can try, civil should be a pretty big one. Contested hearing. Let's try that. Let's see anything for Thursday. We didn't try Thursday yet. So Susan, what I would do in this situation. What's that?
You can try every day of the week.
Yeah, I think we already have so far. We did the 9th, 10th, 12th, 8th. But what I would do here is I would actually, Susan, I would call them. Let me go back to the very beginning. And actually I did that because I wasn't quite sure what I was doing last month. And I looked over here. I'll show you in a second. Hang on 1 second. Let's go back and start here. Let's see, what's new? Payment plan policies, employment, find a court. Most frequently asked questions. Sometimes you get lucky over in here and find stuff. Case status information. Online services. Let's see, that's not gonna, let's see, pay traffic, electronic voucher, Virginia's appellate courts, case status information. General district court. I think that's kind of where we already were.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we were, but I would look for a number and call them. Yeah, we're back to where we were.
Call and just ask them how to use it.
I would ask them, tell them you'd like to look for landlord tenant cases. You know, going, I mean, just some kind of a time frame, you know.
Okay.
And they should be able to show you or have you set up an account. How do I plus release? Okay. Yeah, nothing's jumping out of me. Sometimes it'll say set up an account. Requesting public records. Here we go. Okay. Rules, Supreme Court of Virginia, records maintained by clerk of courts. Let's click on that. See, this is why it pays to be persistent. This might be the thing we were looking for. Oh no, it's instructions on how to request public records.
I did that for these transactions also.
Okay. Circuit court, district court. Here's directories. So did that bear any fruit when you did that?
Yeah, it's that FOIA Act. You just make one call and they send it out to all the departments in the city to see if they had any fines and violations out, and they have to answer it.
Yeah, it's part of the Freedom of Information Act.
Right.
It came out 20 some odd years ago. So they have to make it available to the public. It's just the federal government never said how they do it. Okay, let's do this. Let's try another one. Who wants to be? How about Maine? Let's go to volunteer for Maine. Anybody from Maine on the call?
Okay, I did.
So let me and Dana, if you want, you can either use Lewiston and is Lewiston in the same county as what's the other town you do business in? I can't remember, right down the road.
So Cumberland County, and I don't know if this will help. I was looking for probate stuff today and thought, I used to pay for a subscription service. And I was able to find York County probate and get a list of probate stuff from last week, and also Cumberland County, which is the big county. Cumberland's where I'm at. I'm in Bridgeton, but Cumberland County is where I'd be looking for all this stuff. And I found it, and it was just like, it's a lot easier now than it was years ago. I mean, it was cheaper and easier just to, pay somebody, but I got both today.
So you got probate?
Probate. But I didn't start looking for the landlord tenant stuff, which
that's okay. I'm trying to see the best way to go about this here, because it's sometimes it jumps out at you, sometimes it doesn't, quick leaks, find a court, schedules and closings. Okay, court rules, administrative orders, main statutes, main government. When somebody files a civil case up there, does it start with district court? Probably does, because it won't go to Superior or Supreme yet.
I'm gonna guess.
And we can try. There was family court. I saw that too. Oops.
So the funny thing is, we even have right in Bridgeton. You see, there's our town with there's like hundreds of people who live here. It's a small town.
Okay. It's not giving any kind of a search capability. It's jumping out at me. So when you found the probate, you said it was through a third party? Is that right? Or
no? What I did was I just went to Google and typed in. I used to use a third party, but it was expensive, and there was a lag. And so I went to Google and typed in the both counties that I was interested in, Cumberland County probate records. And I was able, once I got there, to start finding stuff. It took a while. It wasn't like 3 clicks and I found it.
Right.
It took some effort. And then I printed a PDF for both, just to like, wow, now what do I do?
Okay.
It gave the person, the deceased, or I don't think that's a proper term, and the personal representative. So it said the person that had passed, but it gave the personal representative's name and their address. So you mail to them, because that's who, you want to reach out to them and say, hey, if there's real estate involved, then, you could dig and find out if there is real estate. There's enough ways of doing that now.
Okay. I'm going to try this one more time before we wrap this up here. Okay. Access electronic court records in courts where e-filing is available is through the Odyssey portal. Parties in a case or attorneys of record may request elevated access to their filings. Okay. Parties in a case and attorneys. So we're not parties in a case. We're not attorneys. We're going to go to.
We just play one.
Yeah. Welcome to the public portal. Okay. Main rules. You can use smart search. Yep. Use smart search. Click on icon below. Okay. Smart search. Let's see what we get. See, sometimes it's cryptic, so we don't have any of this stuff. I can tell you, we don't have a record number, case number, any kind of thing like that. But let's see if there's some kind of an advanced search. Advanced filtering options. Here we go. And I'm not a robot. So still, we need some kind of a name or something. Party search, case search criteria, smart search, general options. Nickname, business name, filter by gender.
There was something that said sound right there.
What's that?
If you scope, well, case type, would that be landlord tenant? Like,
Yeah. I'm gonna look here and do a date range search. Case type. Let's click on that. Well, let's do all cases. Now let's see what we get. So you still want some kind of a name. So same thing, you'd have to call them and see, like see where it says register. See if you can get a like in the Alexander's case, there was public access and then there was like if you're an attorney. So you should be able to get access that way, set up an account. Yeah, we don't have any of that kind of stuff up there. General options, smart search cases. Okay, let me stop share here. See, does anybody else want to do one more volunteer before we call it a day? No more volunteers? Everybody get the basic gist of this? Like using the court records?
You could do mine,
Okay,
Jackson County, Oregon. I did try to look real quick and I didn't see how to do it.
okay. So let me do this. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, courts, Oregon Gov, Circuit Court, State of Oregon Judicial Department. Let's see if we get any other options here. Court records, home, Oregon Judicial Department. Here we go. Let's try that one. Audio copy requests, case file copies, media access, written transcript requests. Going to court. We're not going to court. We want case file copies. Let's try that first. The thing is, it's probably going to want a case number, but we'll see. To request copies online, request copies via mail. Okay. Let's try that first. Through an online web form. I think it's going to be asking us for specific information. We'll find out. Name of document requested. Yeah, you're going to have to, we don't want that. Let's go back here. Where is that? Oh, that's old. Let's go back here. Drop out of this. Okay, court counters, local remote hearings, the traffic violation, civil cases. Let's try that. Online services. Appellate online, OJD, e-file, iForms, records, encounter search. Let's keep that in mind. We might do that here in a second. Let's see what we get here. Informal domestic relations trials, learn more about it. Click here. Full statement. I don't really care about that. Let's go here. Online record search. Okay. Oregon e-course case information. That's probably where we got to go. Oh, smart search. How about this? Looks like the same people in Maine. You know, what's interesting is they're sister cities too, Portland, Maine and Portland, Oregon. Yeah. So it looks like same thing here, guys. I would contact the court directly and see what options they offer. You know, it'd be nice if you could do it for free, not have to pay for it. But usually the cost, if you have to pay for it, is not that much. I mean, $30 a month, $50 for the year, that kind of stuff. And it is well worth it, you know? So,
Okay, thank you.
yep. Any other questions in general before we call it a day here?
Oh, just a quick question. Do you think the eviction moratorium that's going on, like I know in New Jersey, it's very hard to evict people, is, you know, a problem with getting data? It's just not happening?
Well, the information's still supposed to be available because of Freedom of Information Act. There might be fewer cases, but I know like Tony's on, and we were talking about this a few months ago. And the reality is that the only way people can get away with not being evicted is they have to prove that the virus caused them to lose a job or lose income or whatever. You know, people can't just not pay rent because of the virus, because what's on the news. It's not a get out of jail free card. If they're not paying the rent and they can't just demonstrate that the virus is the cause of that, they can still be evicted. I mean, Tony, are you guys still evicting folks down in South Florida?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, same thing. We look for other, like today, Alexandra and I, we found landlord tenant cases. We found them, where else did we find them? Bobby and I found them the other day, Bobby Appleby. We found them, well, in Pittsburgh, you saw those, Pennsylvania. So there are definitely, people are still being evicted. And they can't, well, I shouldn't say can't. Tom, I was going to say the government can't change the rules like that. But I think we clearly have seen the government can clearly change the rules, you know. I mean, they could probably override Freedom of Information Act at some point or rescind it or whatever, but right now, the data should still be available. And if people are evicting tenants, that's a real good, easy way to get investor deals, okay? So in any case, guys, we have a guest coming up at the end of the month here, either 22nd or 29th. And remember I told you I was going to invite some folks. Were some of my clients over the years who've gone on to, you know, start off flipping and buying duplexes and do great things. So we're going to have the first couple on either the 22nd or the 29th. And we'll go through some of their investments and we'll show the progression of how they evolved and what they look for, especially in us, the investor agents, okay? Some of them got on to become investor agents. They were investors first, just like me, became agents later. But I want you to see from around the country different examples and what's possible for you and your clients. And you can use them as, say, this, you know, here's an example. Here's like we're here in Florida, Rick and Anna. They're from Virginia. They moved down here to Florida. Joe Chawansky is from New Jersey, moved to Pennsylvania. Terry Rogney from Pennsylvania moved to Florida. It seems like at the end of the day, everybody's going to Florida. So maybe that's the end goal. Everybody's on your goal sheets from you do your vision statement should be when it's all said and done, you want to live in Florida. Does that sound like a good one?
No.
Maybe.
Hey, Gary, while you're on that note, we have a couple agents up here at my former office. One of which you know, I know you've been in contact with him. I won't mention his name. I'll do it later, but he has a team and they've all gotten their licenses down in Florida.
Yep.
And they are setting up shop down there and they are targeting specifically what we know as snowbirds from Michigan. And
Yep.
so they're hitting the, they're mailing the, I don't know what you want to call it, the 60 and above crowd, the 50 and above crowd, letting them know that they're dual agents here in Michigan and down in Florida, and they can service that community. And man, they're killing it because it's
Yep.
like what you teach is, don't, mass mail people, look for that niche.
Yep.
And they apparently sat down and thought, you know what, there's people that we know from here that are moving to Florida. Let's capture that niche market. And it's working.
Yeah.
And I got a sister down there. And I thought about, getting a license down in Florida as well, just because I go down there, and they're doing very well because they're capturing that little niche of the snowbirds that move from Michigan to Florida.
Yep.
Fascinating, how the whole, real estate is has evolved outside of just, farming your local neighborhood. I mean,
Amen.
it's much bigger. There's so many spokes in that hub, on that wheel of ways you can cut up that real estate pie. And
So we're gonna all crash at David's house when we're.
Mhm.
My life too. Yeah,
That's exactly right.
But I can't get David to give me referrals because there's nobody that's moving from Florida to Michigan. But David, if I know anybody going down there, you
On
be
the
my man.
Panhandle for sure. And I have, it's warm here. I have a big backyard, plenty of room for tents.
We just have to figure out how to deal with the bugs.
Yeah.
The bugs aren't that bad here.
Skin so soft.
Yeah.
Unless we have a north wind bringing them down from inland.
From Michigan, yeah.
From Michigan, exactly. It's a long way to travel, but
it's awful here too. Trust me, it's just awful.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the marketing campaign. Here's the marketing campaign. Before and after picture. Before is a guy wearing a toque, the tech, the hat up in Michigan with the flaps coming down, big boots, and frozen icicles coming out of his nose, and a shovel. Right.
It was me yesterday.
Yesterday too.
And the after picture is, David,
Speedo.
somebody sitting on the beach. Yeah.
David Mosquito?
Brushing, wiping the sand from his toes. And, that's the before and after. That's your marketing campaign,
Yeah.
Oh, and reduced arthritis.
There you go. I'll tell you what, I'm serious about this, guys. Whenever you have a massive storm going on up north, remember several years ago where Buffalo in one day got 6 feet of snow? Do you guys remember that? Buffalo, 6 feet. That's insane. So what did smart marketing people do? They hit them up, man. They hit that marketing hard. Aren't you tired of this freaking snow? I know people literally said they were done. That was it for them. They said, I'm out of here, man. And they did. They moved to Florida.
Yeah. You want to live like this the rest of your life?
Yep. Have you had enough?
I moved to Florida. I was tired of shoveling snow.
Yep. Yep. So, okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here, but so we'll see. For those of you on the Global Investor Agent team, we'll see you Wednesday night. Be there, be square. We got some good stuff going on. That's just the internal team monthly meeting. Okay. These weekly ones, of course, open to any student, and we're glad to have you. I hope you guys got something out of tonight. Again, whenever we do this exercise, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the point is, you always try, don't give up, and get that data, because I'm telling you, when you get the right kind of data, then you can do the right kind of marketing. You're going to get the right kind of results. That's literally, it's the triangle. 3 M's, remember? Market, message, media. So select your market based on data. We mentioned police officers and dentists and chiropractors and firemen and military, and they make great investors, right? Target them. When it comes to the sellers, use the court records, identify who's going through bankruptcy, foreclosure, probate, divorce, landlord tenant cases, evictions, right? Target them. I mean, Jeff said it perfectly. The group he's talking about looks like they're going to be on the team here. And we call them the monsters of the Midway, even though they're not in Chicago. They're crushing it. 1 year, the guy had 135 transactions. So
wow,
because they target, right? That's the key. Broadcast marketing, leave it alone. Just target, focus. I promise you, once you master it, it'll pay dividends long term. So, okay. Final thoughts, final questions. Going once?
grateful.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, I'm grateful for you guys too. It's only Monday. I hope you have an awesome rest of the week. I always say carpe diem, seize the day. All right. And if you haven't had a call for a while, please set one up. Use the link, calendar link, to set up a one-on-one with me. And for any of the guests, Brian, Dennis, Leslie, you guys got my number. You know how to get a hold of me. Let's do some strategy too. How about that? We'll get you into some marketing and get you going. So, all right, guys.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Gary. You have a good one.
You're welcome. You have a good one too, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Gary.
Bye-bye.